I'm Mimi. I'm a digital illustrator, and today I wanted to give you a little tour of my art studio and show you where I work. I just did some tidying up and a little bit of rearranging, so I thought now would be the perfect time to show you my space since it's just been tidied. So let me show you around. This is my art studio. It's quite a big room actually, and it has this big, beautiful window, which is definitely my favorite part of the space. The rest of the room can get a little dark, but by the window it's perfect, and I can look out into the garden to watch the birds and sometimes the bunnies when they come out of hiding. We don't own this house, we're just renting, and leaving this window behind is probably going to be the hardest part of moving out when we eventually do. So this is my desk. It's pretty big and always has some bits and pieces on it, but I try not to let it stay too cluttered because I like to have room to draw, and I change my laptop setup quite a lot, which I'll show you later, so I like to leave quite a bit of space free. I have some sketchbooks and a journal nearby. If you watched my last vlog, you will have seen that I just bought this A5 sketchbook so that I could take it out and about, and I drew some seagulls down at the beach, but I haven't drawn anything else in it yet, so that's here ready to go on its next adventure. I also have my big sketchbook, which is a Moleskine. I think it's just a 4 size, and this is where I do pencil sketches and all of my drawing for my illustration club that I host over on my Patreon, where we draw from a prompt every month. I'll show you my diary as well because I really like it. I use it to jot down notes of what I've been doing each day, and I like that there's just a few lines for each day, so I can just put down a sentence or two about what I've been up to, and it's really nice to look back on without needing to write lots. I do it on and off, and some years I journal a lot and some years I don't, but I really like looking back at my journals from previous years, so I try and keep it up. I don't remember to write in it unless it's right in front of me though, so I have to keep it on my desk, otherwise I just won't use it. I've got some Prismacolor pencils that I use in my sketchbook, and this really cute pencil sharpener that looks like a ladybug because why not? I'll tell you all about my computer setup in a little while so that I can show you how I use it for drawing, but I have a cute matching mouse and keyboard and this sloth mouse mat that Dan bought me for my birthday a couple of years ago. Something that I do really like to have on my desk is a little notepad with my tasks to do. I have a larger digital to-do list as well, but I like having a small one that I can physically cross things off, and because it's small there isn't room for too much on there at a time, so I use this all the time and it's a must-have for me. I got this particular notebook from Daiso ages ago, and it has this cute picture on the front. Gotta stay hydrated, so I have a water bottle and then a little jar of pens and highlighters and a random spoon that doesn't really belong here, but I just really like it and I'm not sure what to use it for, so it just lives in here with my pens. This little hamster I made during the first lockdown just for a fun craft to do with some clay that I had, and they turned out pretty cute, so they get to live on my desk in lieu of having a real pet. And I've got some fake flowers which are handy because they last forever and I use them in my content all the time. I don't usually like fake plants, but these ones are quite nice and they're super convenient to have on hand. That's pretty much it for my desk, except for my chair, which is pretty standard, except for the cute koala blanket on it. It's winter in Tasmania at the moment, so I spend a lot of my time working with a blanket and a hot water bottle. This room has so much storage built in, so there's this whole wall of cabinets, which is a bit overboard for what I need, and I probably only use about half of it. Dan hung up these cards of my art for me. I licensed out some of my art for greeting cards, and they sent me some copies, so it's nice to have them hanging up here. I also have a few pieces of art from other artists and my nephew, and in this cupboard I store a lot of my craft supplies. I have a Cricut that I would like to make some more fun things with, but because I don't sell physical products, I haven't been using it very much lately. I have heaps of supplies for it though, so I'm just gonna have to make something soon. I have a little sewing machine in here, and actually I made this case with it last weekend for my keyboard for when I take it in my bag to work remotely, and I'm pretty pleased with myself actually because I did a little patchwork on the front of it, and that is definitely a new thing for me. I've got a few brushes and bits and pieces in here, and then down the bottom I have more random art supplies like brushes and paints and sewing supplies that I've slowly accumulated but don't use quite so often. There's this cute mirror in this little nook here, and we recently got this new microphone for doing voiceover for these videos, so I'm using that right now because I'm recording voiceover after filming since the audio quality isn't as good from my phone. I can link in the description the gear and things that I point out in this video so that you know what they are, and that way you don't have to Google them. I love art books, and I have a little collection of some Disney Pixar visual development books that are full of inspiration for characters and environments, and it's really fun to watch the movies and then look through these books to see how they develop them. I also have a DreamWorks animation one which is really good, and that's full of beautiful pictures as well. Now there's nothing very exciting in any of these drawers, but this bookshelf is a bit more fun. I have some more art books, like these really cute teeny ones that I bought at a secondhand book fair that I managed to get all of at the same book fair, but I've never actually seen them before, and I'm just gonna have to keep a lookout for more of them in the future because they're so sweet and I love that they aren't bulky. Maybe you've seen them before. Let me know in the comments if you have, or if you have any of your own, because there's a whole set to collect. I also have lots of cards and things from loved ones and trinkets on here. One of my favorite things is this drawing that I did of Dan and I hiking, but printed super small in a tiny frame. You might notice a theme with me that I really like miniature things. There's something about a regular thing being tiny that just lights me up inside. Now I've got quite a few books and journals, and I'm studying some Italian at the moment, so I have a few language books for that too. I actually got an Italian copy of the first Harry Potter book, and my goal for probably in a couple of years from now is to be able to read it properly, but for now I'm translating it to pick up some vocabulary and just as a fun project to have. I'd really like to spend some time in Italy next year learning Italian, so let me know if you live in Italy and if you have any tips for places to go. Now I have loads more stuff on here that you don't need to hear all about, mostly art books and cards, but I will show you all my art supplies down here at the bottom because I have a big pack of Kaiser Craft marker pens that are really fun to use, and I also have some brush markers that have a different end to the other pens. I get a lot of these things as gifts over the years for birthdays and for Christmas, which is really nice because I have art toys to play with even though I don't use them for my professional art. I also have some watercolors here that I've not used in a while, but I was actually just thinking last week that I'd like to pick them up again because it's been too long. And also some watercolor pencils and normal pencils as well. A lot of my art supplies aren't high-end, but they suit me perfectly, and I find that I'm more likely to use them if they're not too expensive because I'd be worried about ruining them. And if I really like a particular medium, then I can always invest a little bit more later if I'm using it a lot. So I also have my original sketchbook down here from a couple of years ago when I started getting back into art and was trying to make an art career for myself. And it's so crazy to look back at this just less than 3 years on, and everything has changed. I had started teaching myself some art basics again in here and was doing some studies, and then I did Inktober in 2019 to try and make a habit of drawing every day, and eventually the next year I started Mimimoo illustration properly and drew something every day for a year, and this is where it all started, so this is a special sketchbook for me. Now this area I just rearranged because I used to have a desktop computer in the corner that I used to use for graphic design, but now I just illustrate on my laptop. So I've removed that, and now I have this big blank space on the wall that I need to fill with something. Maybe I can hang some art there, but anyway, that's why this little cluster of artwork and then a big blank space is there, because I just changed my desk setup and removed the big monitors that were there before. So instead I have a cozy little chair for reading or relaxing, and I can't help but think that if I had a cat that's where they would sleep. And now I have a cute craft desk for making a mess on, and now I can keep my other desk tidy when I'm working on crafts. I've got a few art prints here that I got samples of because I'm working on a shop where I can sell some physical products really soon. And then I'm working on this miniature house kit that my brother bought me as a gift, so I made this super cute furniture from the kit. And also that's where this little white bench is from that I have this chick sitting on at the moment. Like I said, I love miniature things. I've got my first book that I illustrated sitting here, and I don't know if I've ever shown you guys this before, but Dan made me a tiny version of it for my birthday last year, and he just went and found all of my artwork for it and printed it super small and built this book so that it's exactly the same as the full-size book, but tiny, and obviously the spine is not quite to scale. Anyway, he made it to go with my tiny bookshelf that lives on my normal size bookshelf. I didn't expect this tour to be so full of tiny things. I don't think I realized how many miniatures I have, but now we've all learned something new about me. So that's my craft desk. It's also got a couple more art books. These are character design quarterly magazines that have loads of beautiful art and inspiration in them, so I can definitely recommend these if you're looking for an arty magazine. And then in this other cabinet, I just have some more art stuff like my drawing prompts that you can download for free and print at home. And I have the greeting cards that I license as well. They're the same ones hanging on the opposite wall, and I give them to family and friends for birthdays, which is super handy to have. I know a few of you have asked about art licensing, and I will make a video in the future about my experiences with art licensing. I just want to collect a bit more experience first before I talk about it too much. And then down here, I have some more samples that I am super excited about. I'm really hoping that I can get the shop for these up and running in the next month, but I can give you a teeny sneak peek now because I've designed some shirts, and this one is my favorite one, and I can't wait to do the photo shoot and get the shop online so that you can also wear a snail shirt. It's taken me quite a while to find a way to print shirts in a reasonably environmentally friendly way that is print on demand so that they only get made when someone orders, and I'm really happy with how these turned out, so I'll tell you more about them next month. So that's my whole space as it is at the moment. Now I want to show you my computer and drawing setup because I get asked about my laptop quite a lot, so let me show you what I've got and how it works. So I have a 15-inch Microsoft Surface Book 3. I had the Surface Book 2 for a few years and really liked it, so when I wanted to upgrade to a more powerful laptop, I got the Surface Book 3 with the large screen to give me a bit more drawing space. It's a 2-in-1 laptop, which means I can use it as a laptop or I can detach the screen to use as a tablet. I mostly use it with the screen flipped around and sitting on my laptop stand so I can have the screen raised and closer to eye level. It doesn't really matter that I can't access the keyboard this way because I have a wireless mouse and keyboard anyway. So I just bought myself this matching mouse and keyboard set a couple of months ago, and I got the Logitech K380 and the Pebble mouse to go with it. I want to be able to work remotely, so I wanted them to be quite small and portable, but I definitely haven't found them to be so small that they're uncomfortable to use. I'm just so happy that I could get a keyboard that wasn't black, grey or white like so many of them seem to be. So I have my setup like this when I'm using my computer as a laptop and doing more typing activities, and because the screen is flipped around already, when I want to draw on it like a tablet, I can just move the mouse and keyboard to the sides and bring my laptop on its stand toward me, push the screen all the way back, and then angle the laptop stand to be at a good angle and height for drawing. And now it's just like a tablet, but I can still use my mouse and my keyboard. And because I use Photoshop, I really like having my keyboard at the side, so I can still use keyboard shortcuts. And that makes my workflow nice and fast, and I don't have to click around the screen so much. I have the Microsoft pen as my stylus, and it clips right on the side of my laptop screen. And now I'm ready to draw directly on my screen. I really like how versatile this setup is for my business because I can really quickly go from typing a script in laptop mode to drawing in Photoshop in tablet mode without any fuss. The only drawback that I've noticed about this laptop is that it can get quite hot, so I made sure to get a laptop stand that has lots of airflow, so that's something to keep in mind with it. I also forgot that my iPad was in the other room, so I'll include this in my drawing setup. It's an iPad Air 4th generation, and it's actually the first Apple product and tablet that I've ever bought. Procreate is exclusive to Apple, and I know that a lot of you use Procreate, so I mostly invested in this iPad for my business so that I could understand drawing in Procreate as well as Photoshop. And I also think it's more casual to take places if I'm just drawing rather than taking my whole laptop. I can just take my iPad and sit with that. I don't draw as often in Procreate, but I just got some new brushes, so I'm keen to try playing with those, and I think I'll draw a lot more in Procreate in the second half of this year. It took me quite a while to save the money to invest in this whole setup because it isn't cheap, but it's been such a worthwhile investment for me because it allows me to do so much, and I know that I'm really fortunate to be in a position to have all this gear. And it's partly thanks to you guys watching my videos that allows me to purchase things like this for my business, so thank you so much for your support in watching this. I also just want to say that you certainly don't need a setup like this to have an art business or be an illustrator. It just makes things a bit more convenient, and I certainly didn't start my business with all of this. So it's been really nice having you as a guest in my art studio today and showing you my drawing setup. I'll leave links to things that I mentioned in my description below in case you'd like to check anything out for yourself. Thanks so much for watching this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already to see more art content, because I'm creating videos every week at the moment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!